nepotism.
So just to shift it over to Robert, I like the fact that warfare's basic thing is, hey, war is brutal, war is terrible, war is gory, and yet these guys, cowboy up and deal with it and get through it, and we should celebrate their celebrate their what's the word I'm looking for, in the face of adversity. We should be able to celebrate their toughness, that sort of thing. So, Robert, go ahead.
Tenacity.
Yes, that's what I was looking for.
Yeah, I'm with you. I very much enjoyed this movie. It goes near the top of my list because, well, the rest of my list was not
Minecraft.
very long.
You talking of best movies of 2025 or best war movies?
2025 in particular.
What, you didn't like Minecraft? I'm kidding.
Shut up, Dorian.
I will find you.
Dorian!
So there's that. Screw around with you later. I like the technical
Minecraft joke actually pissed him off.
I like the technical. Yeah, no, I like the technical achievement of this. I like the way it's shot and edited. I love the sound design. That's all really good.
Mm-hmm.
So let me just talk for a second about some of the perils and pitfalls of like tandem directors, because we have two directors here. Normally, when you have a team like this, you need people that are either in very serious lockstep or who are, even if they're different, have a lot of history together. So, like the Coen brothers direct a lot of movies together because they're very similar. They're not identical, but they actually do. They enhance each other. If you've ever seen some of the movies they've directed individually, a little bit iffier. What they do together is actually really, really good. So pairing Alex Garland with another director, I think in this case it actually worked to the benefit. You can see which parts of the movie bear a little bit more influence from which guy, but it's complementary friction rather than contrasting friction. So Garland's willing to lean a little bit more into, here we go again, or, boy, we're just humans and some of these guys aren't responding very well. And Mendoza does a little bit more of, yes, that's real, but let's, focus a little bit on how they're responding to some of the actual adversity, not spend forever lingering on one guy just zoning out because he's concussed and staring at his friend whose legs are almost blown off.
Right.
And so again, kind of getting those 2 points together, you do see some of the friction, but not all friction in the creative process is bad. And just figuring out which is good friction and which is bad friction is an art unto itself. And I think these two, we got complementary friction rather than conflicting friction. So that's a big positive. To Mark's point about you don't get to know the characters very well. In the traditional sense, that's true. What this movie does, though, and this struck me in this movie in particular because I rewatched The Wild Bunch not too long ago. And while not exactly an exercise in economy for that particular movie, it's a little bit long, and Peckinpah at that point was experimenting with some stuff that got a little self-indulgent. But the character work in that movie is saying a lot without saying a lot. It's little stuff between the actors. That's what gives you the insight you need into the characters for the most part. And you get a lot of that here. You get how they play off of each other that speaks volumes about stuff we don't know, but can then reasonably infer. And it's just a slightly different style of character work, and it's the only way they could have gone with this given some of the structures that they put in place. Like, you're not going to get the big backstory, somebody spilling their guts to their best friend about how long they've been here or why they joined up. Like, that's not going to be a thing given what we're trying to accomplish with the film. So we build in time for the actors to play off of each other and for how they do that to be very informative of the character without having to go again into like long protracted monologues. So it's what you have to do with the time you have to work with, kind of a thing.
Well, I was telling Mark about this, like, Saving Private Ryan and several other war films have had that, either going to the mission or they're back on base. And I'll use this cliche as an example of, like, you got a soldier sitting on his cot and someone comes in and is like, hey, man, we're rolling out in about 2 hours. Orders finally came through. And the soldier sitting on the bed is going through pictures, and it's like, dude, you hear me? Yeah, no, my wife just sent pictures. She apparently had the baby today. And it's like, oh, well, you're dead. You're just dead. It's over. You have a wife who just had kids? Yeah, sorry.
The only time I've seen that played with correctly, and I can't believe I'm going to say this,
Oh, Jesus.
Michael Bay did that right. This is a weird thing, but hear me out here. Before the big battle sequence in 13 hours, we see all of the guys do that. It's
that was
every.
That was one of the ones that Andrew and I covered for one Veterans Day. Was we did it on trial for 13 hours.
It's one of the few Michael Bay movies that, especially like post Transformers, I think is actually a decent film. It's not perfect, but I didn't say it was great.
Andrew had some major problems with it. It's one of the reasons why
I have problems with it. I'm not here to like say it's the best thing ever.
I just want to point out that Robert just complimented Michael Bay, and we can't see his face. Is this a Borg assimilation situation or invasion of the body snatchers? Because I think there's some strong evidence. He just complimented Michael Bay. I'm freaking out.
I also like The Rock.
Okay, The Rock he gets a pass on, but that's not what we're talking about today.
So it can be done when he does good. I have to say what I enjoyed about it, but anyway.
No, you're right. I just had to mess with you on that because again, you're the flashing Hal lights.
I am Hal. I'm Hal right now. That's what's going on here.
Come to peace.
So there's a lot good about this, and the actors doing what they're doing. To your point that you brought up, Mark, there's not a lot of quiet moments in this movie. Like, it starts slow, but there's a lot of tension that's being built there especially if you can pay attention. But there are moments that do, again, character work in smaller doses. Like you mentioned, Will Coulter going, man, I'm concussed and this is not going my way. I am not in the right headspace to make real big decisions. You have to be in charge.
This day has been an emotional roller coaster.
Jonas brought up a really good point. One of the things he said on the way out was, he was like, did you notice there was no score? There was no music in this, and how much that lent to the presentation.
Thank you, Jonas. That was actually my next point on my list. Was I was going to be like, I love that the music was like nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You get the percussion of gunfire, and that's about it.
Yeah, and it's so few movies can actually do that.
I'm sorry. How funny that would it have been at the end with like all the Iraqis just kind of walking in the street? You just hear, you put the lime in the coconut and drink a bowl up. You put the lime in the coconut as the credits roll.
Or no, since it's a war film, we got to have them rolling away in the Bradleys, either the Fortunate Son or Buffalo Springfield, for what it's worth.
Yeah, something happened.
As long as
what it is ain't
exactly clear.
Look, as long as we're not like throwing Green Day's American Idiot up there, we're all just going to be better off.
Fucking, you see them all being like transported out by chopper, and you hear all along the watchtower.
Right.
Well, again, all those are 70s songs, so they go for 70s war. I don't know what the again, like Green Day might be about it. That you
bodies by fucking.
No. Okay, this is how the movie ends. If there had been score, because I think this song comes out about the same time, and it is about military stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They're rolling out. We're safe. We're trying to get Elliot, fully, stabilized. And Shinedown's Diamond Eyes starts playing.
That would be one.
Yeah,
that would be one.
Robert.
I don't have a whole lot negative to say about this. This is not going to be a movie for everyone.
Oh, God.
Poor Mark. Like, I assume you're now saving more money for your daughter's therapy bills that you just added to after this one.
Because I am a good parent and must constantly be patted on the back for it, have given my kids a lot of coping skills. So did she enjoy this? No, but unlike the rest of you pigs, she can sit through something she didn't enjoy and it doesn't kill her spirit and her mind. She just goes, well, this wasn't for me. Moving on to the next thing now.
My dad ruined my childhood because he took me to warfare.
My God, you know how many times I've had to deal with that with some of the people on this network? You made me watch this movie I didn't like. It ruined my life. Ugh, my God. Develop.
Okay, no. Okay, I'm saying, okay. I know. I'm short of Mick. I'm the kid of the podcast, but I'm stepping in here and making a rule that everyone should have to follow. If Mark sends you an invitation for something, which is usually how it works, do what I do. When he sent me Hard Bodies, Spring Break, and 10, I went and watched the trailers. Now, I was kind of honor bound to do that one because I'd missed some, so this was my like detention of, hey, you missed class, kids, so, get your ass to detention. But watch the trailer. If by the trailer you can't tell that a movie may or may not be for you, or, it's kind of up in the air, then just say you don't want to do it.
Yeah, like be an adult.
Like, again, I have a whole bunch of people, and again, I've mentioned Mr. Matt Kettner before on this episode. Mr. Matt Kettner, again, is a Army brat as well. Michaela's as a Marine brat. Michaela didn't have a problem with war movies. Mac does. I would not take Mac to see this. Had I been hosting this, let's say Mark was on vacation. He was like, Dorian, you're hosting because I'm on vacation and Robert's doing other cool shit. And I hated war movies. I would say, I can't do this. I hate war movies. You should find someone else. So to all of you that he's talking about, and you know who you are, stop doing that shit. Soapbox over.
Anything else, Robert?
No, that's about it. Again, there's a lot good about this movie from a technical standpoint.
Oh, yeah.
It's very economical with a lot of what it does. I think they make good use of the gimmick, which is a bit of a rarity these days. And yeah, so this is on my list for best movies of this year with 2 other movies at this point, because I do not fill up my list until I actually like something, and then I backfill if I must when we get to year-end stuff. And Mark kind of goes, "You need a top 10." I go, "But there were only 4 that were any good." And he goes, "Shut up and fill out your 10. We got a format here."
Well, no, because Robert is going to be Minecraft, Snow White, this movie.
Those are on a different list.
And might I remind you, Dorian, I will find you.
I certainly could.
6 times. All right.
Yeah. Again, this is really good. Nice to see. To kind of the point that was raised, it's nice to see a movie whose point is very, very straightforward. It's straightforward, and it's also like unpretentious, uncomplicated. It's just a reminder that, boy, this sucks, and we should have some serious respect for people who go through it and some serious consideration before we invoke it.
I think if somebody, I want to bounce off of that, and then we'll go into the money. I think if somebody's asking, why make a movie that underscores that war sucks? What is the point? Because it's a serious thing, and we're a little too. Some people, not everyone, we're a little too glib about wanting to go to war, about attacking other countries, about invasions. About using our military might. People are just like, we have the strongest military in the world, and we do to a large extent. Most other countries, don't stand the chance. Like if we take even removing nuclear weapons from our arsenal, and you just do everything but that, we have, I think, besides China, like the largest land, sea, and air military in the world, 10 times over compared to almost any civilized country on Earth besides China. Most countries, if we decide, to go to war with them, are done within days. Like, I think if you ask Don Rumsfeld, like, why Iraq, it's kind of to prove that we could do it. If you'll remember, maybe, you might not have been cognizant of it at the time, but Don Rumsfeld talked about the agility of the U.S. military and how we got from Kuwait to Baghdad in days. We, yes, it was harder to hold the country for a variety of reasons, which I'm not going to get into. But the actual, overthrow of the country from invasion to taking over the capital, a week, I think it took. And his point was that it could be done. That if the U.S. wants to go in, I mean, in Iraq, not a small country. We went into Iraq and took it over within a week, just so you say, this is what we can do. It was a message to the rest of the world, such as it was.
Oh yeah.
And so, what is the point of a movie like this? To remind you that war sucks, because if you're going to do it, understand what the consequences are.